Yo, what's up, guys? It's good to be back. Hyped to be back. It's been a minute, and I'm sorry that it's been a little bit. I'm trying to still kind of figure out, how do I work? How do I also rest? How do I also do my hobbies that I love? So still working that out, trying to figure out the system, but I'm back. We're back with Blues Nation, another video. Hopefully I'm going to get on a track of doing it weekly again, so bear with me as I figure that out. But today I'm really excited. We have a few things I want to dive into. So first, we're going to do a match preview as the Blues take on the Red Devils on Sunday at 11:30 Eastern time, which I'm hyped to talk about. They're a team I hate, so I'm looking forward to the game. And then the last thing we're going to talk about today is something a little bit different, something a little bit interesting, I hope. It's going to be addressing how the ownership and their model is working. And I'm going to look at that through the lens of three top prospects I'm really excited to share with you guys. So first, though, we are going to look at the table, and we're going to look at this match preview. So let's get ready to do that. All right. So I'm pretty excited about this. So basically, we're playing Manchester United in a time that's really interesting for them. The reason I think it's an interesting time to play Manchester United is because I really think, whether or not we want to admit it or not, their situation as a club is very similar to the one we've been in the past couple years. There've been a lot of turmoil ever since Sir Alex Ferguson left years and years ago. They've kind of been an eternal rebuild where right outside the top four has basically been their living space. They haven't won much of anything. And when they have, it seemed kind of like a fluke, like last year against Manchester City in the FA Cup final. And this year is no different. The main difference I see between them and us is that their ownership, even the new ownership, as well as just their football hierarchy, is absolute shambles. And I think that's exemplified through the fact that they kept Erik ten Hag as long as they did. And he was obviously sacked this week. Little distraught that happened right before our game, because I think they have been a bit of a doormat this season. And that's demonstrated by this. So I'm looking, obviously, at the Premier League table here. Kind of liking the spot we see here with Chelsea. Like to be up in this top four, but we're moving for it. But you have to scroll pretty far to see where Manchester United is at. Oh, top 10? No. 11? No. 12? No. 13? No. Ah, there they are. 14. Of course, they're duking it out with Leicester. So not doing great. Their form has been sporadic. They've won against teams they should, and they've lost against teams they shouldn't. The main thing I want to look at here, though, is right about here. So we see through 9 match weeks, they have 8 goals. That's less than a goal a game. 8 goals for, 11 goals against, -3 differential. Compare that to our Blues. We have 19 goals for, well more than double what Manchester United has. This is the perfect example of their problems. They keep buying talent like Joshua Zirkzee, Rasmus Højlund, all these different players, right? Bringing up youngsters like Amad Diallo, Alejandro Garnacho, all these different players, right? And they can't ever establish anything that's that promising, which is the exact opposite of us this year. We're actually the second highest scoring team in the entire Premier League, behind only the robot machinery of Manchester City. So super pleased with that. They're not an open scoring team. And also their defense is just as bad as ours, with 11 goals against, which really, if you think about it, it feels like our defense has been really poor, but the goals against is actually not nearly as bad as you'd think. So basically, that's what we can look forward to. A team that's not very open. They don't play liquid football like Chelsea does, and they allow as many goals as we do. The next thing I want to look at real quick while I'm sharing my screen is their injury report, because I actually think compared to us, we have basically no injuries, which is, wow, that's amazing to say. They have a lot. They have a lot of injuries, and a lot of injuries to important players. So first off, we see Kobbie Mainoo, their most promising player, probably. And he's a youngster, and he's very important for the engine room in the midfield, which they're lacking in drastically because both Eriksen and Casemiro cannot keep up with 90 minutes anymore. And Lenny Yoro, who they bought this summer, promising center back, he's been out, never been able to play. Harry Maguire, who somehow is still playing at Manchester United, he just really doesn't want to leave. Luke Shaw, not actually sure he plays anymore. Is this just secret retirement for him? And a real note, I do feel really bad for him. You hate to see injuries. It's just been such a long time since we saw him play. Tyrell Malacia, same story. Mason Mount, no words needed. And then Anthony, that's not a huge loss, is it? But still, especially Kobbie Mainoo, Lenny Yoro, Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw, those are all big misses. I don't think this looks like a promising time for them. Yes, they beat Leicester on the weekend. It's Leicester. It's not a powerhouse team, and they should have won that game, and they did. So next I want to look at my predicted lineup. So this is using Footbin, which is a really cool website. If you play FC25 and you want to build, theory lineups, all these different things, super fun. This is my lineup, and this is predicted. Not necessarily exactly what I want, more what I think will happen. And I'm not going to go through too much here because honestly it's fairly predictable from what we've seen lately. But there's a few things I do want to cover. First, Malo Gusto in the left back position. I think we've seen this interchange with Reece and Malo Gusto. I think they're both capable of it. I would rather see Marc Cucurella there. But unfortunately, with this weird A-team, B-team thing we've been seeing he's been trying to keep teams fresh, Marc Cucurella played the full 90 minutes against Newcastle earlier this week. So I don't think he's going to start. He may come in at minute 60, maybe minute 70. I don't think he's going to start. I think he will worm his way back in the starting 11 sooner rather than later, though, as I think he's been a super consistent performer thus far. And then next, one thing I think is really interesting, Pedro Neto, I think, is going to get the start. He didn't play at Newcastle in the middle of the week, so he's going to be fresh. And also, Jadon Sancho can't play because this is his home club, his parent club. So he's not going to be able to play against them. So we're going to be able to see Pedro Neto and Madueke play with each other. And I think it's good that for Nani that Jadon Sancho can't play this game, because otherwise I actually think Nani would have been at risk for losing his spot to Pedro Neto just today. Not because he's necessarily been playing poorly, more so because Pedro's been knocking on the door really hard. The main thing I'm excited about, guys, is right here. Cole Palmer and Nico Jackson. They, I would argue, are the best, not one of the best. I think they are the best partnership in the Premier League right now. You see Nicholas Jackson, who I think is an all-round striker at this point. I love watching him play. At the end of last year, I was really hoping, please don't sign Victor Osimhen, because I think it would stun his growth. I think it would hurt his confidence. And I think Nico Jackson is our striker of the future. Do we need a backup striker who's decent? Yeah, probably. But I think he's our man for the future. And then obviously Cole Palmer, our star man, one of the best players in the Premier League, if not the best. Their partnership is electric. And then lastly, in the engine room, we have Lavia and Caicedo. I think Enzo has lost his spot for now. I don't think he looked good against Newcastle. Made a couple good plays against them in the second half, but still not good enough. And also, there's a lot that goes into that. Apparently, he has a lot of personal struggles right now, so hopefully he's doing well. My prayers go out to him, but do feel poor for him in that regard. So I do think Lavia continues to retain his spot. Caicedo's been a top performer. So that is my guess for the squad lineup. And that's what I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see how we perform with this lineup, because I think it's very strong. So lastly, guys, my prediction for the score, I do believe it's going to be a very strong outing. I don't think Man United is in a good position right now, and I think we are. I think the midweek does not really represent where we're at. It was our B team. We didn't play hardly any of our A team at all. It's basically a different club, honestly, that plays in the cups compared to our league. So I think we're going to win big. I think it's going to be 3-1. Again, I think we score a lot, and I think their defense is not stalwart. And I think their offensive play is not great at all. I don't think they even know who should be starting in their starting lineup. So I think we're going to win 3-1. I think it's going to be strong. I think we want to win. I think we want to make a statement against one of these bigger clubs, even if they're not performing well. So I think we're going to win 3-1. and I'm excited to watch it. So please, in the comments down below, drop your score prediction, Chelsea versus Man United. I want to conversate about that, get into a little bit of discussion about that. So I want to see, do you think I'm making a dumb prediction? What do you think is going to happen instead? So hop into that. All right, guys. So like I said, the last thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about the top talents at Chelsea Football Club. So when I'm saying this, I am not by any means saying these are the best youngsters. I'm saying they're some of the ones that interest me the most. They're some of the ones that I think are most exciting, and for different reasons. And the reason I want to look at this is because I think after watching the Newcastle game and listening to some of the fan reactions and whatnot, we are so reactionary and we're so quick to be negative, which is so irritating to me. We need to be positive. Everything's trending in the right direction. We have an amazing young coach, I think. He's going to be top. And we have an amazing young team, the youngest in the Premier League, one of the historically youngest ever. And we're top 5. And we're pushing for top 4. And once we play against Aston Villa, I think we will take top 4 if they don't drop points sooner. And what I want to say is the things to be positive about do not stop with the squad we have right now. We have a bunch of players who are our players that will be coming in soon that I think are going to continue to make us better and better. And the first I want to highlight is Tyreek George. All of us probably know who he is. He's been featuring for us occasionally, especially in cup games and Conference League games. He looks very promising. He's a right winger. He's very young. He's 18. He's been playing for our dev squad in the U21 in the Premier League 2 team. And he looks promising. The thing I love about him is he's very direct. I actually think he plays fairly similarly to Nani, where he loves taking on players. He loves flashing some scissors, some step overs, and he loves taking an early direct shot from, like the kind of that top corner of the 18. He loves making the keeper work for it. Thing I think is very interesting about him is he's the kind of player that I think when he gets told by a manager, go express yourself, go be yourself, go make a difference on the pitch, he will do it. He's not saying, I'm the young guy, I want to pass, I don't want to mess up. He said, no, I'm going to do it. If you give me the luxury of playing the way I want to play, I'm going to do it. He's confident and he's young. And I think that's really promising. You look at him on the pitch and you're like, man, it looks like a high schooler, and it's because he basically is, and he's so promising in all those different ways. So I think he's one for the future. And then next is Esteval Willian. I think he's one that all of us know about. If you follow Chelsea much, you probably know about him, and if you don't, look him up because he is amazing. Go look up some highlights. He's 17. He plays for Palmeiras, which is one of the best teams in the Brazilian Serie A. And he's up and coming. He's going to join us next summer. And I'm thrilled about him. Absolutely thrilled. He is the cream of the crop when it comes to our youngsters, because he's the cream of the crop when it comes to all youngsters, all of the world's youngsters. He is probably the top echelon of talent for this coming generation. The reason for that is because according to Brazilian reporters, according to Brazilian teams, they have not seen a talent like him since Neymar. That includes the talents like Endrick, who we were in for last year, the talents like Rodrigo, Vinicius, all these different players. None of them apparently compare to what Esteval has been doing. And why is that? Let's take a look at his stats. So this right here is him. He, like I said, 17, so he's born 2007. Isn't that insane? That's so crazy. He's already made 2 caps for the Brazilian national team, which is awesome. And there's so much to be excited about with this kid. And let's look at what he's been doing in the Brazilian Serie A. So in 25 appearances, he has 7, not great with the maths here. He has 19 goal contributions, guys. 11 goals and 8 assists. Why is that huge? He is 17 in this professional division, putting up these kinds of numbers. Better than anybody since Neymar. And actually, do you know what's crazy? Neymar played there till I think he was, you can fact check me on this, 21 or 20 before he went to FC Barcelona. And he never had numbers like this when he was at Santos. This kid is wild. So that is why I'm excited for Esteval. I think he could be the next one. I think the idea of him and Cole Palmer playing the same side, that gives me hope that we will be back in Champions League contention and Premier League contention sooner rather than later. So that's Esteval. And the last player I want us to look at is one I'm also very excited about. And this is one you may have not heard of. His name is Ibrahim Rabaj. So he's Moroccan, but he also has dual citizenship for the English national team. So he is 15 years old, very young. He's one for the future. He's not going to probably feature at all for a couple years still. But I saw these stats and I was absolutely astonished. So he's playing for the Chelsea U16s right now. He was just called up to the English national team U16s as well. And read this right here. This is from beIN Sports. In 40 games for the U16s, 52 goals and 60 assists. That's almost 3 goal contributions a game. This kid is wild. Not to mention he kind of has the look of like a kid that's going to be an icon, doesn't he? You know, like the FC icon cards, the white and gold ones, doesn't he look like he'd be on there? He kind of looks like he's got this like Cruyff looking haircut to him. He just is screaming, I'm the next one. And I'm thrilled about that. He's a Cobham kid. He's been playing for us a while. This is him with Hakim Ziyech because he also has Moroccan citizenship. I'm thrilled about him. So that's just one more that I think we need to keep on the back burner, remember as we move forward. Okay, guys, so that is the end of the video. I just want us to remember, let's be positive. Don't become reactionary based off one negative result. Look forward. Look at the trend of the entire season, right? Look at the positive signs we've been making in our goal scoring and a few of our defensemen in the upcoming midfielders with Lavia, with Caicedo, all these other players, right? Let's be positive. Don't get sucked into the negative headlines that everybody tries to get you by clickbaiting you. Okay, let's move forward. Let's continue this community growth. Drop comments down below. I'm going to try to leave a poll with results about who you think is going to win the match on Sunday. Try to interact there, and I'll try to hop in those discussions as well. So up the Blues, and let's get this dub against the Devils this weekend.